Hi, my name is Kavita Dow and I'm going to be the instructor of this course, the Ultimate Exam Toolkit and the unofficial guide to getting top marks, where we're going to break down how to crush your exams. Maybe you're new to the Dow Academy, but with exams around the corner, you could use a boost. Maybe you're a pro, maybe you're doing pretty well in school, but you feel like you could do better and you want to be your best. Either way, you're here because you want to study fast, learn effectively, and get the best results in your exams. Well, you're in the right place because this course will help you do just that. There's no prior knowledge required, and it's perfect for people looking to learn study techniques and exam strategies to set them up for life, all the way to students with exams who need quick tips and fast, practical exam help. In this course, we're going to break the whole exam process down into specific steps and tackle them one by one. The course is also jam-packed with novel ideas, comprehensive demonstrations, and hands-on worksheets and bonus tips and tricks to troubleshoot any difficult areas, making it as easy as possible for you to get the best results. Now, I'm sure you're keen to start deconstructing the exam process, hacking your brain, and boosting your results. Honestly, we're excited to take this journey with you too. But before we can get started, I'd like to give you a quick story of how and why this course came to be, so that you know why we're doing what we're doing. So, a few years ago, after moving to Canada from the UK, I was in school studying for exams. I wanted to do well, especially because this was my first set of exams after moving country, and I felt like I had something to prove. The problem was I already had loads of work I was trying to keep on top of, coursework, homework, and I was in a new environment with different ways of doing things, and I only had a limited time to revise for exams. In the evenings, I'd pull my huge, heavy textbooks out of my bag and open them up, and I'd see the long pages of tiny text I needed not just to read, but to remember. In that first year, I didn't do so well. Don't get me wrong, the results were okay, but they weren't exceptional. And in this world, for us students, there's so much pressure and there's a need to get exceptional results. Exams are a zero-sum game, and there has to be winners and losers. And currently, I was somewhere in between. It was daunting, and as exams started to get closer and closer, I started to stress. There was no way I was going to cover everything thoroughly enough to feel ready. I talked to my dad, who, because of the move, also had exams coming up, medical exams. He was a doctor, and there was a lot of studying that he needed to do, but he also had to work full-time. Plus, I have two little sisters, who were both very good at keeping my parents busy. This was the first time I was preparing for exams at the same time as my dad. I realized the difference between me and my dad was that he wasn't stressing. I didn't get it. He was working full-time, running a household with two little kids, setting up and settling into a new country, and revising for important exams. Why wasn't he stressing? I wanted to know. When I talked to him about how he was preparing for exams and how I should be preparing for my exams, I noticed a huge difference. I was studying for my subjects, he was studying for his exam. What this meant was that I was spending hours and hours trying to memorize and understand everything we'd covered in class, everything that might come up in the exam. In reality, only a certain amount of what I was learning would be tested because there's only so much that an examiner can test in a 2-hour exam. But my logic was, if you don't know what's going to come up, you have to learn it all, don't you? Turns out that's not true, and when I started focusing on the exam itself, things started to fall into place. The steps became clear. To do really well in an exam, I would need to learn the obvious. To do really well, I would need to have the model answers to the questions asked. Sounded simple enough, but not straightforward. I would need to know the questions being asked, know the answers to those questions, be able to answer the questions in the exam room, which, as I soon discovered, wasn't the same thing as knowing the answers. And I would need to know how the paper was marked. By using this framework, I halved my revision time and was able to walk into my exams feeling calm and prepared. In the months between my mocks and my final exams, I had almost doubled my maths grades. I mention this because when I was writing mocks, maths was the subject that kept me up at night. It was the exam paper I couldn't finish and the homework I needed help with. Fast forward 3 months, and the new framework had honestly saved my grades. The exams felt so easy and painless that I was suspicious. I thought I must have missed something, especially when I finished that maths paper with time to spare, something that never happened to me with maths before. It became clear in my final results too. I'd boosted my grades to 42 out of 45 in the International Baccalaureate Diploma Programme, which put me in the top 3% of worldwide scores. I was stunned. The whole experience made me realise how much exam stress stems from the fact that most of us aren't taught how to approach exams. We're taught what's going to be on the exam, but then often we're pretty much left in the dark to figure out the rest. What's the best and fastest way to learn all that stuff? How do we know what will come up? How do we know the best way to say this or that to get top marks? Exam results can have a pretty big impact on our lives, and I think it's only fair that we have the right tools to tackle them. I started thinking about everyone else who didn't know what I now knew. Every student's time would be so much more productive and satisfying if they knew exactly how to prepare for exams using all the methods and techniques available to them. It wouldn't surprise me if it's that time of year again for you, preparing for an exam. Students all over the world are cramming, getting ready, hoping for the best. If, like I was, you're stressed and you could do with a boost, you're in the right place. But how do you remember it all? How do you fit it all in? How do you know what will come up? How do you know what to say and when to say it to get the best results? Initially, I tried teaching individual students and small classes, but time was limited with teaching those small groups, and I felt I wasn't getting the message out to all the students who could benefit from this. That is why I created this course. This course is the product of hundreds of hours of research, as well as real-world testing, including my own exams. We're going to cover the various ways you can research your exam and your exam questions, legally of course, so that you can properly prepare. Then we'll look at ways to remember your answers. We go into this in a lot more detail elsewhere in the Dow Academy, but for this course we'll take a condensed look at what's most useful for you, the exam student. We'll follow this up by looking at how to get your answers down on the page in such a way as to maximize your results. We believe, by far, this is the best course out there for exam preparation. It's the most comprehensive and gives you the real tools that you need to prepare for your exam, no matter what the subject is. We will teach you how to recall and retrieve your stored memories in the best way for your exams. This course will challenge some of the traditional ways of looking at exams that you may have, and it will cause a sea change shift in the way that you prepare and learn for your exams. You'll need to add new tools to your exam toolkit and discard old, worn-out ones. There will be work, maybe even hard work, as you make your way. But with each step of this journey, you should see an improvement in your productivity and, more importantly, in your results. I expect your results to get better and better with each new insight. You won't have to wait until the end of the course to see improvements. Stick with this course and it will transform how you think and approach exams. So persist, and remember, exams are designed as a zero-sum game. There will be winners and there will be losers. Make sure you know which one you'll be. With that, we're ready to lock and load and start setting up for success.